Good evening, my friends. It is such a privilege to stand in front of you today. My name is Dr. Miller, and for over 23 years I have had the honor of sitting across from patients in clinic rooms, holding their hands, reviewing their lab work, and listening to their fears. I have worked with professional athletes, executives, teachers, grandparents, and people who simply wanted to walk without pain again. And if there is one thing I have learned, it is this. After the age of 60, circulation becomes the quiet determinant of how well you will live the rest of your life. Let me begin with a story. A few years ago, a 72-year-old gentleman named Robert came into my office. He was dignified, former engineer, sharp mind. But when he walked from the waiting room to my consultation chair, it took him almost a full minute. His legs felt heavy. His calves cramped at night. His feet were always cold, even in the summer. He told me, "Doc, I don't feel old in my head, but my legs, they feel like they belong to someone 20 years older." How many of you in this room have felt something similar? That heaviness, that swelling, that subtle fear when you stand up too quickly. Robert had been told by multiple physicians that this was just aging. That phrase frustrates me more than almost anything, because aging is not a diagnosis. Aging is a biological process, and processes can be influenced. When we ran deeper testing, what we found was not mysterious. It was not rare. It was not dramatic. It was reduced peripheral circulation. His blood vessels in his legs were stiff. His endothelial lining, the delicate inner lining of his arteries, was inflamed. Nitric oxide production was low. His blood was slightly more viscous than optimal. Nothing catastrophic, but everything trending in the wrong direction. And here is the part that changed everything. After implementing one very specific daily drink, one simple, targeted intervention designed to restore nitric oxide signaling and improve microvascular flow, within 3 weeks he called me and said, "Doc, I walked around the entire block yesterday without stopping." 3 months later, he was hiking with his granddaughter. Tonight, I am going to explain exactly what was happening in Robert's body, exactly what is happening in yours if you are over 60, and exactly what you can begin drinking daily to rapidly improve leg circulation. Not as a magic trick, not as a supplement fad, but as a physiologically sound intervention that works with your biology, not against it. And I will tell you something else. This matters more than almost anything your regular doctor has discussed with you, because circulation is not just about your legs. It is about your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your ability to heal, your independence. And by the end of tonight, you will understand why a single daily drink can act like a master key, turning on systems inside your body that most people never even knew existed. Now let's talk about the real problem. I want you to imagine your body as a vast city. In this city, your heart is the central pumping station. Your arteries are highways. Your veins are return routes. And your smallest blood vessels, the capillaries, are the tiny neighborhood streets that deliver groceries to every home. When you are young, those highways are smooth. Traffic flows effortlessly. Delivery trucks arrive on time. Waste is picked up efficiently. But after 60, something begins to change. The highways stiffen. The asphalt cracks. Construction zones appear. The neighborhood streets narrow. Some are partially blocked. Traffic slows. This is not dramatic like a heart attack. It is subtle, gradual, but relentless. The medical term for part of this process is endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is a thin layer of cells lining every blood vessel in your body. Think of it as the traffic control center. It releases chemical signals that tell vessels when to widen and when to constrict. One of the most important of these signals is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like a text message sent from your blood vessel lining to the surrounding muscle. Relax, open up, let more blood through. When nitric oxide production is high, vessels dilate, blood flows freely, oxygen delivery improves, waste removal accelerates. When nitric oxide production declines, which it does significantly after age 60, vessels become less responsive. They stay tighter. Blood flow reduces. Tissues receive less oxygen. In your legs, this means heaviness, cold feet, slower wound healing, night cramps, reduced endurance. Now here's what most people are doing every single day that makes this worse. They are sitting for long periods. They are eating low nitrate, highly processed foods. They are chronically dehydrated. They are consuming high amounts of refined sugar that damages endothelial cells. And many are on medications that, while necessary in some cases, may further reduce vascular elasticity. Let me pause here because this is critical. After age 60, nitric oxide production can decline by as much as 50% compared to your 20s. 50%. That is not small. That is like shutting down half the traffic lights in a city and expecting traffic to flow normally. And yet most routine medical visits do not measure endothelial function. They do not measure microcirculation. They look at large blockages, cholesterol numbers, blood pressure. Important, yes, but incomplete. So you are told everything looks fine. Meanwhile, your calves are burning when you walk uphill. I do not say this to criticize my colleagues. I say this to empower you, because the problem is not mysterious. It is biological, and biology responds to inputs. Now let's move into the science. When you consume a targeted nitric oxide supporting drink, the process begins almost immediately. In the first hour after ingestion, dietary nitrates, naturally occurring compounds found in certain vegetables, enter your bloodstream. But here is the fascinating part. They are not immediately converted in your stomach. They are absorbed and then secreted into your saliva. Yes, your saliva. Bacteria in your mouth convert nitrates into nitrites. That is step one. Without these oral bacteria, this pathway does not function optimally. This is why excessive antiseptic mouthwash can actually impair nitric oxide production. Let me say that again because I want it to land. Killing all oral bacteria indiscriminately can reduce one of your body's most powerful vasodilatory pathways. Now, in the next 2 to 4 hours, those nitrites are swallowed and converted into nitric oxide in the acidic environment of your stomach and bloodstream. Nitric oxide diffuses into the smooth muscle cells lining your blood vessels. Inside those smooth muscle cells, nitric oxide activates an enzyme called guanylate cyclase. This enzyme increases levels of cyclic GMP. And cyclic GMP is the signal that tells the muscle fibers around your blood vessels to relax. When those fibers relax, the vessel diameter increases blood flow. Even a small increase in diameter dramatically increases blood flow, because flow is proportional to the fourth power of the radius. That means a 10% increase in vessel diameter can lead to nearly a 50% increase in blood flow. That is not a small tweak. That is transformative. Now let's walk through what happens in your legs specifically. In the first few hours after enhanced nitric oxide production, arterioles in your calves begin to dilate. Microcirculation improves. Capillary recruitment increases. That means more tiny vessels open that were previously dormant. Oxygen delivery to muscle tissue increases. Mitochondria, your cellular power plants, receive more oxygen and nutrients. They produce more ATP, your energy currency, Psi. Simultaneously, improved circulation enhances removal of metabolic waste products like lactic acid. That burning sensation you feel when walking decreases. Over days and weeks of consistent daily intake, something even more powerful occurs. Nitric oxide is not just a vasodilator. It is anti-inflammatory. It reduces platelet aggregation. It inhibits adhesion molecules that cause white blood cells to stick to vessel walls. In other words, it reduces the stickiness inside your vascular highways. Over time, arterial compliance improves. Blood pressure may normalize slightly. Resting heart rate may decrease. And peripheral circulation, especially in the lower extremities, becomes more resilient. Now here comes the turning point. There is a moment in this biological timeline that I consider the wow moment. It happens when chronic low nitric oxide states shift into sustained nitric oxide sufficiency. When that happens, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, an enzyme abbreviated as ENOS, becomes more active. This enzyme is responsible for producing nitric oxide internally from the amino acid L-arginine. For years, we thought dietary nitrates were simply a temporary boost, but emerging research suggests that consistent intake can actually upregulate endogenous nitric oxide production. That means your body begins making more of its own. This is like jump-starting a stalled engine and then having the engine repair itself. In our city metaphor, not only are you clearing traffic temporarily, you are repairing the traffic control center, and when that happens, the benefits extend beyond your legs. Cognitive clarity improves because cerebral blood flow improves. Kidney filtration efficiency may increase. Exercise tolerance rises. In Robert's case, 3 months into his protocol, his ankle brachal index improved. That is an objective measure of leg circulation. His walking distance doubled. His nighttime cramps disappeared. And here is the drink. It is a concentrated blend of nitrate-rich vegetables, primarily beetroot combined with pomegranate for polyphenols, a squeeze of lemon to support vitamin C-dependent nitric oxide stability, and a small amount of ginger to enhance circulation further. This is not a commercial product pitch. This is food as physiology. Beetroot is one of the richest natural sources of dietary nitrates. Pomegranate contains powerful antioxidants that protect nitric oxide from oxidative degradation. Vitamin C helps stabilize nitric oxide molecules. Ginger supports vasodilation and reduces inflammation. When consumed daily, ideally in the morning on an empty stomach or before light movement, this combination creates a powerful vascular response. Now I want to address some myths. Myth number 1. Poor leg circulation is just aging. This is not only wrong, it is physiologically backwards. Aging does not cause circulation problems. Accumulated endothelial damage causes circulation problems, and that damage can be slowed, halted, and in some cases partially reversed. Myth number 2. If I don't have pain, my circulation is fine. Peripheral artery disease can be silent for years. Reduced microcirculation can exist long before severe pain appears. Waiting for pain is like waiting for your car engine to seize before checking the oil. Myth number 3. Supplements are scams, so nutrition won't help. I agree that many supplements are overhyped. But this is not about exotic pills. This is about leveraging known biochemical pathways with targeted nutrition. Now let me speak about the clinical evidence. There was a landmark series of studies out of the United Kingdom examining beetroot juice and exercise performance in older adults. Participants over 60 who consumed nitrate-rich beetroot juice daily showed measurable improvements in blood pressure, endothelial function, and walking efficiency within weeks. In Japan, research on pomegranate extract demonstrated significant improvements in arterial stiffness markers in older populations. In my own clinic, I have monitored patients with Doppler ultrasound imaging before and after implementing this protocol. I have seen increased peak systolic velocity in peripheral arteries. I have seen reduced inflammatory markers like CRP. But let me be clear, this is not magic. It works best when combined with movement. Even 10 minutes of gentle walking after consuming the drink amplifies nitric oxide signaling because muscle contraction itself stimulates eNOS activity. Now let me give you the practical protocol. Every morning, ideally between 7 and 9 a.m., blend 1 medium raw beetroot, half a cup of fresh pomegranate seeds or unsweetened pomegranate juice, the juice of half a lemon, a small piece of fresh ginger about the size of your thumb, and water. Do not strain out all the fiber. Fiber supports gut health, which indirectly influences inflammation and vascular tone. Drink it fresh. Do not store for days. Nitric oxide precursors degrade. After drinking, wait about 15 minutes, then engage in light movement. A brisk walk. Gentle leg raises, calf pumps. Encourage blood flow while vessels are dilated. Hydrate throughout the day. Dehydration thickens blood. Reduce refined sugars. They impair endothelial function. Include leafy greens in your lunch and dinner. Spinach or rugula, Swiss chard, additional natural nitrate sources. Within the first week, many people report warmer feet. Within 2 to 3 weeks, improved walking tolerance. Within 3 months, measurable vascular improvements. Now, who should be careful? If you are on nitrate medications for angina, you must speak with your physician before increasing dietary. Nitrate significantly. If you have chronic kidney disease, high potassium foods like beets should be discussed with your healthcare provider. If you are on blood thinners, monitor closely, as improved circulation can subtly influence dosing needs. This is not for children. It is not necessary for pregnant women without circulatory issues. It is designed primarily for adults over 60 experiencing reduced peripheral circulation. Now let me close where I began. 3 months after starting this protocol, Robert sent me a photograph. He was standing at the edge of a lake, holding his granddaughter's hand. No cane, no grimace, just a smile. He told me, "I thought I was shrinking, turns out I was just constricted." That sentence stayed with me. You are not shrinking. Your vessels may be constricted. Your nitric oxide may be low. Your endothelial cells may be inflamed, but your biology is not broken beyond repair. Your body evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to respond to natural plant compounds, movement, sunlight, hydration. This is not a new trick. It is a return to what your vascular system has always understood, and I will leave you with this. When you restore circulation, you restore possibility. Thank you. I am happy to take your questions, and if you choose to begin this tomorrow morning, I would love to hear what changes you notice in your own legs, your own energy, your own life.